Hello guys and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today it's FAQ number 13. Did I just spit myself? So FAQ has been delayed for a while now because sometimes I have a lot of questions, sometimes I have none. So I've decided to make this a little bit with more space between the episodes because I see that most of the time people just don't have the time to comment or to post questions on social media and stuff like that on YouTube. So I prefer to do this. I'm thinking about doing this 2 times a month instead of every Friday. I mean every Monday. It was Friday and then Monday, but it will still be on Mondays. But for now I think I will be doing like the first 2 Mondays of every month because it makes more sense and I have a lot more questions to answer. Besides that, I want to thank you very much for all your support and questions you have been posting. They are great. So let's go straight into them. So first question for David Wright. Hey Juca, I love your videos, insight, playing, and your sharing of so much good info. Thanks man. Very much appreciated, brother. Dumb question. I've had a Katana Mk3 for a couple of months now, and I love the tones I'm getting. No metal here, but a little of everything else. I've been a tube snob until now for over 40 years. Now the question. Would I benefit using GX100 with the Katana, or it would just be a waste of money? Is there enough improvement effects in tone to justify my purchasing in advance, brother? Have a great day. Yeah, sure, you would totally benefit because not only you get a unit that you can connect to your computer if you want to, or live applications direct to a PA, front of the house PA or something like that, but you also can connect it to your Katana Mk3. I don't know if you still have it or not, and connect it on the power amp pin and just disable the cap sim from the GX100. For me it's better, sounds better. I saw some videos on YouTube of guys that don't disable the cap sim and they are happy with their tones. I don't like it because you have like 2 cap sims. You have not 2 cap sims, 1 cap sim from the GX100 and the cap from the Katana, so it doesn't make sense for me. But apart from that, you just disable the cap sim and you have a total different tone and much more faithful recreations of you know, tube amps, edge of the breakup, and so not the Katana cannot do that, but then you have like, if you connect it to your computer or your PC or whatever, it's a Mac or PC, you have stereo effects, delay chords. You can jam with headphones and it's a great tone unlike the Katana headphones. So yeah, it's a great addition. If you can, do it man, it's a great unit. Next question. From Richard T. Question, what type of rig computer do you use to program patches when you're at a gig, if you bother at all? Is there even something should happen to a patch? I'm considering taking my laptop, but it's always another piece of stuff to drag along. Well, lately I haven't been gigging almost nothing because all the conditions they are not really good for that, and regarding everything around gigging, okay? But if I wouldn't take in my laptop because that's an extra piece of gear that you have to take. I prefer to take everything like I did before to some concerts with my Katana Mk3. Everything is already ready to go with the foot switch. In this case it was the GA FC from Boss, and I had every patch that I wanted for every song. So in my case we have you have like on the 100 watts you have like 8 banks, is more than enough. You know, I rarely use too many effects live. I used to play just with an amp and a wah pedal, nothing else. So having all those effects for me is a great addition, and usually I would just use 2 or 3 patches. And one thing I do a lot is just use the volume on the guitar and the tone control. That's why I put the noise gate sometimes very low or almost non-existent. I prefer to hear some noise and have to go dial it back and the sound goes away totally, okay? Especially if you're sustaining a note at low volumes and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm a simple guy, so I prefer to go everything already dialed in, save it in every bank that I need for specific songs, or I'll just do what I did in a video where I'm using the GAFC like a pedal board. I have distortion, I have delay, chorus, I have my clean tone if I disengage the distortion because I'm in a clean channel, and that's a really great approach because you have all the effects laid down, right? and you just have to click on them to engage or disengage for every song. So it's like having a pedal board unit with like the GT1000, the GX100. You can do that with the Katana. I don't know if you have watched that video. I'll link it below so you can see it. It's a great way to play live. I did that and it was really cool. So I hope I answer your question. Let's go for the next one. From Ryan Pross, the Katana has so many boosts, it can be overwhelming at times. What are the just few of your favorites? Thanks. Well, regarding boosts, I've made a video with all the drives, all the Katana drives tested. But usually, for boost, I use the clean boost. I love the clean boost. Tube Screamer, what can I say? It works great in every channel. And what else? Maybe overdrive, no, warm overdrive, something like that. So basically these three, the boost, the clean boost that I love, Tube Screamer, and the warm, I think it's warm overdrive that it's called, correct me if I'm wrong. Those are my three main go-to boosters. Of course, when I'm doing patches for certain artists, it totally varies and depends on the artist, but for me, that's where to go. Thanks for your question. Let's go for the next one. From Bartop Black, sorry I can't pronounce your name. Hi Juca, since you have new Epiphone with Fishman Fluence, I was wondering if you have a chance to check Tony Abassi signature Fishman, especially the single coil simulation. To me, they sound really great and kind of honest, transparent. I was curious of your opinion. The vote series should stay. Thanks a lot about the vote because I wanted to make this series. There's a lot of people engaging. Yeah, I've checked out, and they're really great recreations of single coil pickups, especially for those clean sounds that you're talking. But I do have back there my Epiphone Prophecy with Fishman Fluence, also with single coil, the tap thing button, and they sound amazing. So probably their pickups are a little more tailored to their guitarist tone, this new kind of rock, this new kind of metal that emerges nowadays with those clean tones. But if I plug my Epiphone Prophecy with Fishman Fluence into Archetype, Nolly, not Nolly, the other one, can recall the name, Pliny, I really love the single coil tones. They're very accurate and they're very kind of what you're describing, like Abassin, I think it's his name. So yeah, you can get some pretty amazing tones with these pickups on this guitar. Now, if you prefer that kind of weird guitar designs that he has, personally, I hate it, but there's a lot of guitars, other guitars from other brands that do that. So yeah, they're really a faithful recreation. I wouldn't say a faithful recreation to play like Stevie Ray Vaughan or stuff like that, but for modern metal cleans, okay? So that's that. Thanks for your question. From Justin Lade, yeah, I've always wanted to dive more into the Line 6 category. I upgraded from Katana to Podgo to Helix now. You did what? Just kidding. Okay, I have a Line 6. I've had a lot of Line 6 stuff. Right now I just have the HX Stomp. And I warned up on social media that I was going to stop a little bit doing patches. I mean, I even took it off of my site because I believe there's a lot of other good people making better patches than me, or at least putting more time into them, Line 6. So for me, it's kind of a weird thing right now because I'm so into the Boss, ecosystem, if you want to call it that it's really taking me too long to go with the software from Line 6 that I really don't like. I don't like those sliders in green, for all the parameters. I think it's very overwhelming, too complicated. Although it has a great tone, you have great tones out of the box, and you can do basically everything you do with the Katana and the GT1000. It's just not for me, man, because I'm now so used to getting into parameters and deep dive into everything on the GX100, GT1000. Although it's been out for a while now, it still has many things to, you can search and continue to develop. So many things to explore. That was my thing to say. But so yeah, I took down on the site. Maybe in the near future, or who knows, I'll go back to it. But that's what really put me off. It's those sliders. It takes too much time to adjust that. And but it sounds great. So I hope you're happy with your unit. and probably in the near future I'll do more of line 6 and probably get another unit, because I know the software is the same, but to have a new life to it. Thanks for the question. Let's go for the next one. From Luke Gomez. Gomez in Portuguese is Gomes. Hey Juca, I have the Mkiii 100 loaded and saved patch. Sound fine when I feel around with them. Then I turn my Katana off. Next day I turn the amp on and the sound is different. Why it's not steady? What am I missing? Well, if you're using it in panel mode, you'll probably not save your tones. It happened to me a lot, because sometimes I'm just using on panel mode, right? With Boston Studio Open software, and I just made something different, like increase the gain or try a different channel, different reverb or stuff like that. Then I go to, because you can also save in panel mode, okay? But it doesn't stay there as on the other channels, if you understand what I mean. Every time you touch anything, it will totally change it. So panel mode, it's not a safe place to be. So maybe that's that, I don't know, because if it's on a channel, so there's probably something wrong with your amp, because when you save a preset or patch in a bank A, B, C, doesn't matter, it's saved. It has to sound exactly the way you saved it. There's no other option. In panel mode, no, it alters, because if you forget to save, although it's not a safe place to save, if you get any minor adjustments and it goes down. I was doing something in panel mode that I was really liking it. I remember one of these days, and I went to the librarian to check with another patch. When I come back to the panel mode, everything was like it was in the beginning, so I lost everything. So it's better also to save on banks. Now, once again, if it's happening on a bank, you better go with your Katana and see what's happening, because that's not normal. If it's in panel mode, it's totally normal, and don't forget to save in bank mode. Thanks for your question. Let's go for the next one. Johnny Moore, is there any sign of a Katana Mk3? Johnny, I could tell you, but then I have to kill you. I mean, yeah, let's leave it like that. David Bertholt, this is a big question. I've just downloaded and used your full boutique amp patch set. It's brilliant. How do I equalize the volume between each patch? Okay, I think I got it. All in bank A, the volume is quite different between each patch. Do I tweak volume in BTS? Does it automatically save the settings in the amp? Similar volume issues, tones are just spot on. Thank you very much. So it's very easy. I have an article on that. I'm gonna put it here on the screen somewhere. Is this in focus? I hope so. Where you just need to use your EQ volume slider. If it's Mk1, you see like a slider, or the parametric EQ also on the Mk1. The last EQ that you have on your signal chain, you'll just increase or decrease the level of the patch and save it. Now, nowadays I'm very careful about making patches all at the same level, because people ask me to. I was not very aware of that, so when I change, sometimes you forget stuff, you know. And there was some significantly, is that the way you say it? A difference between significant difference between volumes between patches. So nowadays I always make sure I don't go with my DAW to see the meters or stuff like that. There's no need for that. If you have a good ear, you'll see if it sounds it's the same volume or not. Some guys do that to match exactly. There's no need for that, unless your hearing is bad. But that's the way I do it. It has to be the last EQ, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if it's an EQ in the loop or in front of the amp in the signal chain, you're actually boosting something, okay? Boosting the signal. Sometimes I use the EQ as a boost, not necessarily to EQ things, but just to boost the gain, the preamp on the Katana with the software, of course, Boston Studio. So I have an article on that. I'm gonna put a link here, or put it just an image and a link below the video, so you can see. It's very easy to adjust. Now it might take some time, you know, a little bit higher on this one, save it, a little bit low, and everything will work seamlessly, and every single sound exactly as you have, because you're dealing with the last EQ, not the others that I've mentioned, if I made sense. Thanks for your question. Let's go for the next one. Last and not least, from C. Gilbert. When I buy your amp packs, can I adjust the settings like I was really using the amp, or am I best keeping all your set? Thank you for your time. That's a great question. Thank you so much for that question. Some people have been asking me that. Yes, you can. You should not touch DQs and the parameters that are inside Boston Studio, okay? Like if there's a specific EQ curve, sometimes there is two EQs, a parametric and an EQ, a slider one. Those you should not touch because that will change the chord tone. Now, my idea is to make the other controls of the amp, like bass, middle, treble, and I test this a lot, believe me, to behave something similar to the real amp. Of course, this is not totally possible because every amp has its nuances, and some amps like have those dynamic EQs where you increase the treble and increase the distortion, something like that. So it's not a totally faithful recreation, but it's the best that I can do to my ability, so you can adjust just the knobs on the amp and not in Boston Studio, and that's what I do. Sometimes I have a patch here that sounds like, you know, has a lot of bass, and I take the amp to another room, maybe rehearsal room or something like that, and I'll just reduce the bass on the amp, and I'm not going to go into Tone Studio. The same thing for middle and treble and presence and gain. Although if you touch, you know, this is you might have gain maxed out on your patch, and the knob it's totally down. So you have to take that in account, especially gain, you know. But it's meant to behave like the amp. Of course, it's not perfect, but it's the best I can do. So this was the last question. Many thanks for your question. I also have a lot of questions to answer because there were too many, like 16 or 17. So I'm gonna leave this to another episode, and I'm gonna announce it when I'm gonna do it next. Probably in the second half of the month, because then I'll have more time and more questions to answer. So many thanks for watching once again. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Half of my viewers, and I've seen other guys saying this on their channels, but it's true, are not subscribed to the channel. It doesn't cost you too much to just subscribe, and it will help a lot my channel. And that's it. So I hope you guys stay safe wherever you are, and see you on the next one. Cheers.